There are three typical pricing strategies that most marketing agency owners follow. And here's the thing, two of those strategies will not enable you to actually scale your agency. In other words, two of these strategies will actually become a hindrance as you grow your agencies. The question is, what are these three pricing strategies and which one should you adopt for your agency? Hey, it's Wayne, founder of Ugly Mug Marketing and creator of the Agency Accelerator. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the three most common pricing strategies that marketing agency owners use when it comes to pricing the services that they provide. So chances are, if you're an agency owner, you're already using one of these three, and chances are really good that you're using one of the two that are going to hinder your growth as you attempt to scale your agency. So how do I know this? Over the last 16 years, I have built and grown a successful agency. We're a multiple seven-figure agency. And here's what I know to be true, that when I first started, I was using the first two of these strategies. And these two strategies kept preventing us from reaching the next level. You see, we would do a project, we'd land a client, get the project, we'd pour our hearts and souls into the project, only to finish to realize we hadn't charged enough. Or we would realize we need to do extra things to really help them see the value and get the value out of our services. But because we had already exhausted all of the budget and all the time we'd allocated, we simply didn't have the time. So we were frustrated and they were frustrated by the results. So let's jump into these three pricing strategies. The very first one that most of you are going to be familiar with is where you bill by the hour. So we're going to call this the hourly strategy. Now, when you're first getting started, if you're a freelancer, this is probably what you're accustomed to. This is where you say my hourly rate is X dollars per hour, and you work and you complete the project on that time. The problem is this model or this particular strategy creates some issues for you. Number one, your incentive is actually to take as long as possible to complete the project, right? In other words, if you want to increase your revenue, you have to spend longer working on the project. So from the client's perspective, they understand this. They understand that you are incentivized for the longer it takes to complete it. On the other hand, it doesn't reward you for being efficient. It doesn't reward you for being effective. And it certainly doesn't reward the client in terms of getting results from you, because you're only getting paid based on the amount of time spent. So if this is the strategy that you're using, what I'd recommend is that you embrace a completely different model, which is the third model, and we're going to get to that in just a second. The second most common pricing strategy that most agency owners use is what we would call product-based or service-based. So I'm going to call this product-based. And what is this? So a product-based or service-based model, pricing model, is this. It's where you have certain things that you do and you quote them based on the project itself or the thing that you're delivering. So if you think about your services in terms of a product, so say someone wants to hire you to do a website, you think of that as a product. It's a website that you're selling them. And so you are basing your price on the product for their specific project that you're completing. Now, this model is good. This model is better, I think, than the hourly model, but it also creates issues as you attempt to scale your agency. And the reason is this: you, again, are tied to the projects themselves. In other words, all of your time, energy, and effort, all of the results that you get, the rewards that you get for your effort, are tied to just completing the project, to being done and delivering that product or service to them. So from their perspective, it's safer, from the client's perspective, it's safer than the hourly model because they know what it's going to cost to complete or fulfill the product or service that you're delivering. However, it also creates issues for you because what if the scope changes, which if you're an agency owner, this thing called scope creep, it's a real thing. And sometimes we don't do a good job getting all the details up front. And so what happens is the scope of what we're delivering, the scope of the product that we're delivering to them can change or evolve. We may discover things that we need to pitch them to help them actually achieve what it is that they're after. But we don't discover those things until we're in the middle of the project, right? You can probably relate to that. You're in the middle of the project, in the middle of doing the thing that you do, and you realize, you know what? They really need this additional thing because this additional thing is going to really help them achieve the goals. But you're no longer incentivized to pitch that to them because you've already agreed on the price here, right? You've agreed on the scope here. And so you are constraining yourself to only focus on delivering the thing that you've already sold them. And so it's really not an ideal scenario for you, and it's not an ideal scenario for them. So just like the hourly model, the product model or the service-based model is going to hinder your ability to grow and scale your agency. So what is this third strategy, and how can it actually help you scale? So the third one is what we call the value bridge. Now, there's more to it than just the term value bridge. The whole point of this particular strategy is that your pricing should be centered around the value that you deliver for your client. Because this is a win-win, right? They're hiring your agency not because they want a website, not because they want social media marketing, not because they need SEO or whatever it is that you do. They're hiring you for the outcome or the results that those things are going to produce for them, right? They're hiring you for the value that those things are going to produce. So doesn't it make sense that you price yourself and you price your services based on the actual value that you're going to bring to the client? This is a win-win for both of you because it enables you to stay focused on the outcomes that they're after, not just delivering the thing, not just working by the hour, but it aligns your values and their values together. In other words, what is best for you and your agency is to have clients who have gotten remarkable results from the things that you've done, because they're then going to go tell other people about you. They're going to share with their friends, share with their family, share with their business colleagues. But if you're using one of these two pricing models, you're setting yourself up for failure because the incentives are in the wrong place. There's no motive for you to deliver the most value to them. So you're probably thinking, what is the value bridge? How do I price my services around the value bridge? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look at what the value bridge is. So the value bridge, let's think about it as just like a traditional bridge. On this side, over on the left, we have low value, and over here on the right, we have high value. This is where there's a lot of value taking place. So in order to transition people from low value to high value, in order to position ourselves and the products and the services that we deliver from low value things to high value things, we have to bring our prospective clients across this value bridge. And there's 3 simple questions that we're going to ask to help transition our clients across this value bridge and help us define what our pricing should actually look like. So question number 1 is simply this: Mr. or Miss Prospect, how is this website we're going to build you? How is it going to actually help you reach your goals? How will the thing that we do help you reach your goals? That is question number 1. So here's what I know to be true. Most of the time, they don't have an answer to that because you are so different in asking that question from everyone else. What you're doing is you're acknowledging to them that they really don't want a website. They want something that's going to help them reach their goals. So it's a positioning question for you. So again, don't be alarmed if they can't answer that question. Help steer them through thinking about how the website's actually going to help them reach their goals. So, right now you're getting X number of visitors to your website, and what percentage of those are currently converting to customers? I don't know. Maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 2%. So you're having this conversation. Well, what if we could take it and turn that into 5%? So out of every 100 people, instead of 1 or 2 becoming a customer, what if we could get 5 of them to become a customer? So again, Mr. or Miss Prospect, how is this thing we're going to do going to help you actually reach your goals? Number 2 question is this: Mr. or Miss Prospect, when it comes to your website, how are you actually going to measure the ROI of the website that we build you? What are the things you're going to be looking at to determine if this website was a good investment of your time, your energy, and your dollars with us? Now, again, your prospects probably can't answer that question, and that is okay. It's about opening up the conversation. It's about helping them understand that you want to be held accountable. You want your website to be accountable for actually achieving things that are meaningful to them. So navigate around that question, discuss that question with them, walk them through how to think about their website, how to think in terms of measuring the ROI. So we could talk about total visitors to the website. We could talk about number of people who opt into newsletters. We could talk about people who actually add to cart, people who check out. There's a lot of conversations that we could have where we could benchmark against and have that conversation. Now, let's look at the third and final question that you're going to want to ask to use the value bridge model. And the third question is simply this: Mr. or Miss Prospect, if we're able to build a website that actually helps you reach your goals, and you can clearly measure the ROI based on what we just discussed, what would this website be worth to you? And so then you pause. There should be a pause there. Don't keep talking. One of the sales skills that I learned very early on is he who speaks first buys. So when you pitch that question to them, when you say, Mr. or Miss Prospect, if we build a website that actually helps you reach your goals and you're able to clearly measure the ROI from this website, what would that be worth to you? You've just posed the question to them. If you keep talking, that means you are buying their resistance, you're buying their excuses, you're buying all the objections they have to the sale. If you stop and wait, you allow them to speak first. You allow them to buy. What they're doing is they're trying to justify, they're trying to ensure that the website they're about to buy from you makes sense to them. And you're using terms that matter to them, don't matter to you necessarily, right? All of these questions are from their perspective, not yours. And that is why this value bridge pricing model is so powerful and so effective. And it enables you to scale because number one, it aligns your clients' goals and objectives with your skills and abilities, right? If you're great at building websites that actually convert, that actually help people grow their businesses, that's what they want. But when you're using the hourly method, when you're using the product or project-based pricing model, you're not aligning your skills and abilities with their desired outcomes. So these are the three pricing models. If you're using hourly or you're using the product-based, I would strongly encourage you to begin using the value bridge. Begin testing it. And it's simple in terms of the three questions you follow through or you walk through. But it's difficult in terms of learning to use those in conversation that appears natural, that appears easy, and gets them to reveal the information that you need so that you can win more high-value clients and that they stick with you much longer. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow for more because I've got more great content coming your way.